A common theme in a number of Steven Soderbergh films is that of characters playing each other as they plot something. With the Christophers, he takes the idea into the art world. Although what is most surprising when watching the film's format is that Ed Solomon's screenplay is not based on a play. The vast majority of the story takes place in painter Julian Sklar's apartment as we watch the conversation between him and his new assistant, Laurie. So the Christophers largely rests on the two central performances, with Ian McKellan and Michaela Coel doing enough to sustain our interest throughout. As mentioned, the film primarily consists of these dialogue exchanges, and while it might run the risk of being dry, Soderbergh's direction makes it engaging. McKellan and Coel develop a solid rapport of each other, although we also see how the characters occasionally get at each other. While it would have been easy to depict Julian as this great, underappreciated artist, the film does not necessarily do that, and it particularly wants to explore how the role of the artist is not to tear others down to prop themselves up. His curmudgeon attitude is not something to be admired or imitated, and the film shows that through the biting remarks he makes. There is a bit of dimension for Laurie, along with seeing the wheels turning in her head. We're not entirely sure what move she's going to make as she gets involved in this potential scheme involving these paintings. One of the most interesting aspects of the movie comes from Julian's two adult children, who bring Laurie into their plan. Jessica Gunning and James Corden give solid performances in those roles, showing the way they view their father and the frustrations at his behavior. However, these are not necessarily sympathetic characters, and Gunning and Corden find the humor in the way they see these paintings as profit engines more than the treasured work of an artist. Adding to the play-like feel of the Christophers, Soderbergh does not go flashy of his direction, instead using the space of the characters' lives to give us a further understanding of them. The more we spend in Julian's workspace, the more we see how his mind works and the way he spends his days. The film even makes clever use of modern technology like telephones and how they change the way we view and interact with famous people. Under the wrong direction, this would have been dry and dull, but the little details add to the story being told. This becomes a fairly low-key Steven Soderbergh film in its presentation, but he understands it rests on the shoulders of his two leads. Ian McKellan knows his painter is not a mentor, but someone who frustrates everyone around him, and the film does not romanticize his harsh comments. Watching these two talk about painting and what his legacy might be does prove compelling, and the film manages to get past the constraints of its location. Ed Solomon has a deep understanding of the characters he has created and gives them enough solid dialogue and dimension, and we wonder who is playing who.